If, in fact, Doc Rivers takes over as head coach of the Giannis and Dame Bucks, the question looms, how far will they go now? Keyshawn, you first, please.
You know, Skip, that's a fair question, right? How far? If Doc is the guy. The crazy thing is we've been here, an hour, 2 hours, or whatever the number is, and I've gotten excited about the possibility of Doc Rivers taking over for the Milwaukee Bucks. Because as I continue to look, and I say to myself, Giannis willed his team to victory in the championship a couple years ago, despite having a hyperextended knee. He came out, gave him 50. The whole, you know the story. And I'm sitting there and I'm saying, Giannis is not going to allow this team to fail. And neither is Dame that came over from Portland. So I'm looking at the big three, and I'm saying to myself, they only can go up from here. They can't go down. And they got a coach, a veteran coach who knows how to coach. I understand they hadn't won since 2008 or whatever his NBA final. Okay, there's a lot of coaches that hadn't won in a while but still can coach, and Doc Rivers is certainly one of them. Did he have mishaps along the way? Has he squandered opportunities in 3-1 leads and 3-2 leads in playoff series? Yes, he has. Yeah, he has. But that doesn't mean that that's going to happen again in Milwaukee. So when you look at the Philadelphia Big Three, and you talk about what I say Maxey and Embiid along with James Harden last year, they averaged 74.4 points. The Bucks this year, for that Big Three, if you want to call it a Big Three, they're averaging 72. You talk about rebounds per game, 20 for both across the board. Assists per game, 18 across the board. So he's getting a very similar situation. The difference is, for me in this equation, is Giannis. I love Embiid. I love him. But it seems like Giannis is always available when Embiid wasn't always available in certain situations. And so I like the opportunity it presents itself. It could present itself for Doc Rivers. If he can somehow get rid of those 3-1 hiccups, those 3-2 hiccups, because they're going to the playoffs. Me and you and Richard, I had to be the head coach, though. Y'all be my lead assistants or whatnot. We could coach them to the playoffs. So imagine the experience that Doc brings and the knowledge that he may bring to this team come playoff time. And I know you say, well, the defense is the problem, defense is the problem. Yeah, they can fix a little bit of it. You don't have to fix it all, because it's all about scoring. And as long as you can stop the other team from scoring more than you'll be in good shape.
I think that Doc can fix some of their ailments on defense. He has been historically great. His teams have been great defensively most of his career. The efficiency has been there. But could you imagine what Doc's career would have been if they had fired him halfway through his rookie year coaching because his team was second? And you know what I mean? Like, give a coach a chance.
Good point.
My goodness. Right. But at the same time, he doesn't have a great playoff history. It's actually insane. His record is 16-33 in playoff series that his team has won 3 games, Skip. That his team has won 3 games. That's a rough deal.
Wrong.
And that shouldn't give you the most confidence, because these are talented teams. I mean, the Clippers were a really talented team. The Sixers were a really talented team. He's coached some really talented teams, so it's not lack of talent. And offensively, they're tied for #1 in points per game with the Pacers right now. So it's not like they weren't getting it done offensively. They weren't scoring points. And it's not like they weren't able to beat Boston. They blew Boston out just a couple weeks ago, and you still fired a coach.
They did.
They beat Boston. What did they beat them, Skip? They beat them 135-102. They beat them by 33 points, and you fired that head coach who has beat the #1 seed in your conference right now and beat them badly. And now I just don't know how much more Doc can get out of this team than they were already getting. Like, what else is he going to get that Griffin wasn't getting? You're going to get more defense, and then you're going to get less offense. It's not like you're going to hey, we're going to thrive more offensively and defense is going to go up, one is going to affect the other. Either you're going to score more points and stop less, or you're going to score less and you're going to get more defensive stops. That's usually how it goes. So I just don't know.
So why did the players want him out then?
Well, sometimes you just don't get along with a guy. Sometimes you just they got more respect for Doc because of what he's done in the history.
That's why you get over the hump, because of the respect level. That's why you feel a certain way, because you got a coach that you respect, a veteran coach, Skip, that comes in here and he's talking to you different. It feels different. You align with him. You see eye to eye with him. And now you say, well, the defense is going to get slightly better. Maybe that's all they need. Maybe the offense doesn't suffer. Maybe the defense just get better a little bit, Skip, and they feel better about that.
Okay. I'm with Richard that I feel really sorry for Adrian Griffin. He did not get a fair shake or shot. I believe he can coach. I think they picked him because they knew he could coach, and he fell into a trap because the whole mentality got changed when they swapped Drew Holiday and his defensive mindset and his winner's intangibles for Dame. And I'm not saying Dame is not a winner. He just never won at the highest level. He is way better on offense than Drew is, obviously, though Drew would take and make big shots in big moments for the Bucks. But their whole defensive mindset, the tone was set by Drew. It's why they fell from 4th overall in defense a year ago to 22nd now. They are who they are and who they are not. And Doc would have to accept this is who we are, and I'm going to have to work with what we're not. They're more of an offensive basketball team. As Richard pointed out, they can still score it at the highest level. They can win with their offense. Will they ever be as good as they were under Coach Bud? Because they went 5 straight years at or near the top defensively for 5 straight years. And that was their bread and butter. That was their signature. That was their mindset. When they walked in the door of the arena at night, they were like, we're going to lock you up and lock you down on defense. We're not going to outscore you. We're going to keep you from scoring. Now, with Dame, it's got to flip the script, and they have to just come in and outscore teams, and they're highly capable. Can they beat Boston? Because Drew Holiday is now a Celtic. I don't think they can. I think Boston's defensive mindset is returning what they had under Ime Udoka, obviously, before he blew himself up there and is gone. But the point is, I still don't think they're better than Boston. And yet, the one thing Doc brings, as Keyshawn can attest, he's great with superstars. He's a superstar. He's a TV star, and he's a made man. He's got his ring. He's been to 2 finals. And Doc has star power to him if you've been around him. He's very charismatic. And because of that, he'll be better for Dame and maybe for Giannis. Maybe they'll feel a little more comfortable, like they can trust him more in big spots and big moments than they could a first-year coach in Adrian. So I'll give him a shot, but I think Keyshawn's going to pick him to win it all. I'm still not. I still think there's going to be something missing.
You cannot speak for me, Skip. I feel like this team, and correct me if I'm wrong, just the feeling with Doc on it, the feeling feels like his Boston teams to me. Just the feeling of it. And here's why I say that. Yeah. Because when you talk about personalities, those guys and Paul Pierce and Ray and them and KG, they aligned with Doc. Where in Los Angeles, there was Chris Paul and him didn't, it was all that. Then James Harden.
Blake and Chris Paul. Blake and Chris didn't get along.
Blake and Chris. Yeah. And so this feels different. It just feels like that Giannis is going to accept the coaching. It seems like Dame will accept Middleton, Lopez. They will accept the coaching where those Clipper teams and those 76er teams, it was too much other stuff going on. And by the way, someone just tweeted out that they had agreed to terms to hire Doc Rivers as the next
good for him.
Coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. That's it. That's going to be interesting.
All right.
But it's like, how long before they turn on him? Like, that's what I don't understand. How long before they turn on Doc? Like, once you start a pattern of turning, they turned on Bud. They turned on Griffin. They turn on Doc. Like, once you start to get in that pattern, like, man, I'm not liking what he's doing.
Dame wasn't there with Bud.
But that's what I'm saying. When you start to say, I'm not liking what he's doing, and we got rid of this other dude, let's get rid of him too. Like, then, it's a slippery slope that you go down.
Yeah. All right, back to the National Football League, back to what happened Sunday at Detroit. How big a blunder was it for the Bucs coach Todd Bowles to not use the timeout that he had left at the end of the game? We discuss next.
No mercy, no mercy.